Hello, and welcome to North of 1867. I'm Kevin, and I'm your host. This channel is all about all things Canadian, past, present, and future. I hope you can just sit down, relax, and enjoy the show.
Canada stands with the Iranian people in their long and courageous struggle against this oppressive regime, and we reaffirm Israel's right to defend itself. Canada supports the United States acting to prevent Iran from obtaining a nuclear weapon and to prevent its regime from further threatening international peace and security. And the Canadian government urges the protection of all civilians in this conflict.
PM Carney officially stated that Canada supports the U.S. efforts to eliminate the Iranian terrorism threats and their nuclear programs and missile programs, and to ensure that civilians are kept as safe as possible. Then just a couple of days later, Prime Minister Carney had to walk back his statement about support for the U.S. mission in Iran due to legal formalities about the war, if everything was legal or not, as far as the UN and war type of engagement rules. But anyway, I think he should have known better than to declare support for the U.S.-Israel mission/war in Iran. How could any country confidently declare support for that war on Iran when both the U.S. and Israel leaders are both criminals, liars, and inconsistent with their mission objectives by changing the narrative every day? Canada may have to get involved if or when NATO countries get attacked by Iran. Turkey has already been attacked, so we might be expected to help.
Conversation going. We have been hoping all day to speak to members of the Iranian diaspora who are holding protests across this country. We were able to get in touch with a few of them, and we're going to go now to speak to someone named Nellie. She's among those participating in one of the Toronto protests, I believe in Richmond Hill. She's an Iranian Canadian. She's at the demonstration supporting the strikes on Iran. Nellie, thank you so much.
Check out this young woman named Nellie. She's just one of the many people protesting the current Iranian regime. She's shedding tears as she explains how most people are hoping that the 47 years of oppression against her people back in Iran will end soon if the regime is overthrown. She realizes that it is America and Israel doing the invasion and supposedly plan to help her people by facilitating the downfall of that authoritarian religious extremist regime in Iran. Sadly, it is likely almost as worrisome knowing that Donald Trump and Netanyahu are spearheading this plan to take out this regime, when each leader has not been reliable with plans and agreements with other nations in the past. What if Trump and Netanyahu agree to leave the old regime in power with a few oil, weapons, and shipping agreements and the removal of sanctions on Iran? That could mean mass murder for the civilians in Iran. That's beyond the tens of thousands of people there already that have been murdered by their regime. Here is more CBC footage of Iranian protesters pushing for regime change in Iran. Protests are in Toronto, Montreal, and all over Canada. These protests have been happening for years and quite frequently lately. Kazra says, imagine 90 million people in Iran right now being held hostage. They can't breathe, they can't dance, or even listen to music. Kasra says that most of his fellow protesters, in Canada, have hoped that the U.S. and Israel will give his people back home a chance to make a stand and defeat the evil regime. Kasra hopes that the regime will fall soon in Iran and that the world will accept the Crown Prince Reza as interim leader of Iran. Okay, here's Senator Graham being interviewed, and he's asked if the U.S. is at war with Iran. He responds, "I think the Ayatollah would say yeah." The senator then says, "I don't know if it is technically a war. The mothership of terrorism is sinking. The captain is dead." He says, "The mothership that fuels the proxies is in sinking mode." Senator Graham says the goal of this operation is to change the threat, not the regime. Now I have to wonder how that plan is going to pan out for the Iranian citizens being jailed and murdered by that regime almost every day. Senator Graham says that when the operation is over, Iran will not have ballistic missiles to hurt the USA, Israel, or the region. Senator Graham says Iran will no longer be capable of being the largest state sponsor of terrorism. That is the goal, and that goal will be achieved. Senator Graham is then asked who will pick the next leader of Iran, the U.S. or the Iranian people. The senator responds, "I talked to the Crown Prince. He's got some ideas about transition. There will be no American boots on the ground either." Again, the senator says, "We are going to free the people up from a terrorist regime." Senator Graham then says, "They can't have a nuclear weapon. They will be out of the terrorism business." Well, I gotta say, it looks like Lindsey Graham is just repeating the same talking points over and over again in this interview, and we all just know that these blurbs are going to change in just a day or two. Trump and his team are already referring to the operation as a war. To be honest with you, I think that the Trump administration members, when they're saying, some of them are saying it's a war, some of them are saying it's not a war, it's just a matter of speech. It's just what they happen to call it at the time. When you have bombs going off and missiles flying and aircraft carriers going in and ships and fighter jets, you automatically refer to it as a war. So I'm not trying to stick up for the Trump administration, but that's likely it. I don't think each one of them that are saying, well, the war's going good, things like that, when they say that, they don't actually they're not really trying to say that it literally is a war, or that it's not. It's just the way they're using the wording, you know. But anyway, the senator says that it's not President Trump's job to pick a new leader. Now, even now, just a few days after this senator's statement, it has become apparent that Trump actually wants to play a part in choosing the new government in Iran. Go figure, eh? You know, typical Trump, you know, so anyway. Okay, this is a True Social post by Donald Trump, it looks like. It says, hopefully the IRGC and police will peacefully merge with Iranian patriots and work together as a unit to bring back the country to the greatness it deserves. Does this Trump administration have any clue what it is doing? Lying has to be a big part of their plan. These people have no chance, the citizens in Iran, if that current regime stays in power. They're just going to continue on with the murdering. Hey, you know, if this is Trump's real plan, to keep that same regime there, I think Trump is purposely screwing the Iranian people, and many tens of thousands more of them will be murdered in the end because of Donald Trump. The NBC host says, VP Vance says there is no chance of a long conflict in Iran. But President Trump said there is always a risk of a long drawn out war. Senator, he says, give me a break. We're going to beat Iran. We're going to get the Arab countries to take this regime down. Wow. I have to wonder if this idea was even presented to the Arabian countries and if they actually agreed to do this. I started working on this video a few days ago and already everything's upside down, arse backwards, and changed. If not, you know, over a day later or a couple days later, within a few days at least, almost everything has changed. So now the war is spreading like wildfire in the region. I call it a war because there are already 2 U.S. aircraft carriers, battleships, fighter jets, and missiles involved. It's a shit show.